travelled to southwest Wales to interview author and healer Chris Thomas, who has revealed in his series of books a wider history of humanity, which details an alien consciousness called the Balon, manifest here as the Anunnaki and the Hathor. Much to his cost, as Chris awoke one morning to find he had been injected with the poison, so he is now in a severely weakened state. He was able to give us a series of interviews for the sole purpose of discussing the Balon, its influence on the elite and the Illuminati, to the detriment of humanity and other facets of humanity's history for the greater good, and provide a warning of humanity's impending danger unless we wake up and pay attention. We introduce Chris Thomas.
I think most people are becoming aware of the Anunnaki and the Anunnaki story. A lot of people are picking up on Zecharia Sitchin's translations of the cuneiform clay slabs that tell the Anunnaki story, which is essentially that humans were made by the Anunnaki as a slave race. It's gaining more and more prominence. More and more people are becoming aware of Sitchin's translations on the Anunnaki story. And there's also an awful lot of channeled material out there, and a lot of websites containing channeled material saying that the Anunnaki are here to save us. Organizations like the Galactic Federation, Ashtar Command, Big Great White Brotherhood, organizations like this are Anunnaki, essentially. They're set up by the Anunnaki, and they're here to deliberately mislead us. And the way in which they are doing this is they are using a basic human knowledge that we are undergoing some kind of change on the planet. And what the Anunnaki are trying to say is that we are ascending to the fifth dimension. Now, this whole concept of ascension is an Anunnaki word, and this idea of the fifth dimension is an Anunnaki concept. It has nothing to do with what is really happening on Earth. And it is all done to mislead us, to try and make us believe that the Anunnaki are actually our gods. They are our creators. And that is not true. It is totally against everything that human history is all about, human aspirations and human potential are all about. The Anunnaki are trying to remove people from the planet as much as possible, and this is what this whole thing is about. The other process they're using, of course, is the religious concept of the second coming of Jesus. So we have this, the Christ consciousness returning is something which is spoken about a great deal. And this Christ consciousness is personified by an Anunnaki who calls himself Sananda, or to give him his full title, Lord Sananda. Now, if this being is an ascended consciousness, the highest level of consciousness that you are able to achieve within this universe, why would it have an ego that requires the title Lord? And also the Vilon or the Anunnaki is saying that Sananda is a word that means the ascended Christ. Now, this is just deliberately done to mislead, to make people believe that the Anunnaki are our makers, are our gods, whatever it is, and they are working and have been for a long time working in conjunction with the Illuminati. And the Illuminati control governments and worldwide organizations, worldwide corporations. All of these are attempting the same thing, to dampen down our ability to change. Because what is really going on is that we are not ascending anywhere, we are staying on Earth. What we are doing is bringing the higher self, the other part of the soul, into the physical body. We have to try and remember or understand that we are not a body that has a soul, but we are a soul that has built for itself a body. And what we are doing in this lifetime, before 2012, is bringing the whole of the soul into the body, so that we fulfill the potential that all of us has. And that potential means we can do things like translocate. In other words, we can just think ourselves somewhere else on the planet and take the body with us. We can communicate with wild animals. We can communicate with all living things psychically. We can communicate with each other psychically. That is what the end of the Mayan calendar is all about. It's not the end of the world. It is the end of human existence as we know it, because we are becoming so much more than we even believe possible. And there are already over 4.5 million people on the planet who have achieved this process. Everything that is going on at the moment is stopping everybody else, that's you and me, from undergoing this process of change. And that's what it is all about. It is a deliberate attempt to mislead us. So what we need to do is to remember who we are and what our potential is. Just imagine being able to walk around, to be able to travel to any country just by thinking that you can do it, and then, let's say, communicating with the tiger cubs, playing with the tiger cubs. Anything like that we will be capable of. But the way in which we achieve it is actually very, very simple. We're not being lifted off the planet by any kind of alien race in spacecraft. We are not ascending anywhere. We are not moving to a fifth dimension anywhere. We are staying firmly footed on Earth. And the way in which we achieve staying on Earth and bringing the whole of the soul into the body is very, very simple. The best way to protect yourself through this whole process is to go through the process, essentially. Because the more aware you are, the more psychic you are, the more soul you have within the body, the more aware you are of other people's intentions and other people's actions towards you and towards the planet. And therefore, by undergoing this process of reintegrating the soul into the body, you become far stronger than you ever believed possible that you could be, and you will be able to protect yourself from anything that comes in. I think one of the TV channels aired a questionnaire that they carried out of what people feared the most. And the top answer was, the number one answer out of this survey was that people feared most coming under psychic attack. And as far as psychic attack is concerned, the more that you take in of your higher self, the more able you are to deal with problems like psychic attack. Very, very few people actually do come under psychic attack. You need to go out and do something that makes you noticed on a psychic level. So if you're not acting on a psychic level, the chances of coming under psychic attack are very slim. So the best thing anybody can do to protect themselves is essentially to undergo this process of change. Once we undergo that process of change, we are essentially invincible. Nothing can touch us. No disease, no illness, no psychic attack, nothing, unless we wanted to.
Many thanks indeed, Chris, for your time.
My pleasure.
And good luck and God bless.
I'll drink to that.